Okay, guys, we're going to start with Python programming session 1. We'll talk about Python programming, the Python libraries. We'll talk about the platform where you're going to write the Python program, how to go for installing the Python. We'll also talk about how to check the current version of Python which you're using. We'll talk about Python programming is very much case sensitive. As we know, SQL is not case sensitive. In SAS, variable values are case sensitive, variable names are not case sensitive, right? But in Python, everything is case sensitive. The statement, the function, the values, variables, everything is case sensitive. Keywords, everything. Now we'll talk about here, when you go for Python variable, the variable names, what criteria we need to follow. We'll also talk about how to define the variables and the values and the data types. We'll also talk about the data types using list, tuple, set, and dictionary. We'll also talk about how to go for list all the data type in a particular in Python programming, list all the data types, how to go for doing that. Can variable be updated, deleted, and appended? We'll talk about that. How to retrieve values by given positions, how to indexing the positions towards retrieving the values given a variable name. How to create temporary dataset in Python. How to read dataset part 1 in terms of creating dataset, inserting values to the table. How to go for dropping, deleting, and truncating a table the way we did in SQL. We'll also talk about how to add columns, how to drop columns in Python programming. We'll also talk about how to go for importing data into Python using Excel file, CSV file, text file, and also connecting to the database file like SQL Server. We'll also talk about here how to go for exporting data from Python to the Excel file, to CSV file, to Excel file, and also connecting to database server, how you can go for exporting data. Then we'll talk about whenever you go for creating any table, how to describe the table. When you're describing the table, the number of column, number of records, columns, the data types, how to go for doing that. How to create a new dataset from an existing dataset, how to go for creating a new dataset by selecting variables to call a new dataset or dropping variables to call another dataset. So that is something we'll be doing in today's class, which is the same contents which we do in SQL session 1. We are also replicating the same sessions to Python programming today. Is this clear to all of you guys? Before going to start the Python programming, what we have to do, we have to go to Anaconda. In Anaconda, we have Jupyter Notebook, we have PySpider, we have PyCharm, where we can go for writing the program. Let me complete the program in Jupyter Notebook. I'll take the same program in Jupyter Notebook to PySpider to run it and PyCharm to run it to see how it is happening. Mostly people working into developing the software or developing something called network optimization, they use PyCharm. When Jupyter Notebook was not there, people were mostly using the PySpider towards writing the Python program. Since Jupyter Notebook came up with cells and the values to be inserted, which is lots of features, which is going to more towards the browsing facility, not by, because Jupyter is mostly connected to the cloud platform. That is the reason why people are using mostly Jupyter Notebook. So more extensively, if you're going for applying for the job, they would look forward to see if you could write the program in Jupyter Notebook. The same program, there's no syntactical error. Same program we can apply to PySpider and PyCharm as well. But Jupyter Notebook is very user-friendly. Now, since we're going to start the Python programming, what we will use here, Jupyter Notebook. To Jupyter Notebook, if you, the moment you say launch, it will launch through what? Your Google Chrome browser. Whatever browser you have, it is going to connect that to open. Since I have already connected, I can see that my code is coming out here. What I'm going to do here, I have created, there is a folder called Python 2023-09. I'll go to the session 1. Inside the session 1, I have created a code folder. Since I want to save my code into this folder, what I'll do here, I'll go to new, I'll open the new kernel. The moment you open the new kernel, it is going to open without a title. So now you need to give the title for this kernel as what? Called session 1. Right? What do you call this? Python code. Does it make sense to all of you guys, everyone? Okay. Now, if you go back to the folder, you can see in your code, you have session 1 Python code has been saved. There's a backup file has been created, nothing to worry. The moment you close it, this backup file is also going to be removed there. Sometimes it is going to be staying, but it is going to be a temporary file. You don't have to worry at all. The main code is being stored with what? Session 1 Python code, and the extension of the code is what? .ipynb. That means this is called integrated Python notebook. You're using IDE environment, integrated development environment, where you're writing this program, and we're using notebook for that. Soon after you save this code, you will go for writing the program out here. As I said, we'll be talking about Python programming. I just copy this. The first thing I'll be pasting here. The moment I paste it, what I'll do here, I'll making this as what? Heading. The moment I make heading, automatically there is a hash call. Hash is coming, hash means it's a commented out. Soon after this comment, I have to run this program to make it as active. So I'm going to talk about what? Python programming. Right? So what I'll do here, I have given some text. I don't want to waste time to explain that. Already we have done this. I just copy this text and I'll paste it here. When I say Python programming is a high-level interpreted programming language known for its simplicity, readability, and the versatility. It was created by, the name is given as what? Guido van Rossum in the late 1980s, and he was a professor by the time when he developed this application. And released in 1991. Since 1991, Python was developed only for data science purpose. But later this Python has been used for multiple purposes. What are those purposes going to be? Some popular libraries which we are going to use, that is called NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Flask, and scikit-learn. What is NumPy? NumPy is used for scientific computing in the Python environment. If you want to do some kind of scientific calculations, for that you would be using NumPy library. Pandas for data manipulation, data analysis. In terms of reading data, filtering data, cleaning data, transforming data, if you need a programming, you have to first install the Pandas library. Then only you can go for doing that. Then there is a Matplotlib or C1 we use for data visualization. In Python, we can also make it as 3D, 2D, SD, viewed as view visualizations or the charts. For that, we'll use the library name is called Matplotlib. Mostly we use Flask for web development. Either we can go for using Django as well as Flask is libraries, which is going to use in web development. Now we use scikit-learn for machine learning, which is mostly used for statistical model development. Python is often used in a wide range of applications, including the web development, scientific computing, data analysis, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and automation. That means one application has a solution to many other departments. Though Python is not a database, but it is mostly used for other applications as well. Why we are using it? For web development. We are using it for what? Machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analysis. Along with that, it can also be used for gaming purpose and network optimization. Some advantage of Python programming is for the simplicity, readability, and easy to use, make it great choice for the beginners. Additionally, it is wide range of libraries and framework can save developers time and effort building any application they want to work with. Moving on to the next, we'll be talking about the Python libraries now. I will just add one more cell to this. I'll make it as headings. Then I'll say run. Now for about Python libraries, I will just copy this thing here. Okay, so Python has vast library ecosystem that provides various functionalities and tools to develop. Why we use Python libraries? For its NumPy for the scientific computation, Pandas for what? Data manipulation, data analysis, Matplotlib for what? Your charts, dashboards, or creating visualizations. Scikit-learn is for what? Statistical model building, machine learning, deep learning, AI. You will be using those. TensorFlow, Keras. These are the library which is mostly used for deep learning purpose. Flask, why do we use? For the web development. Django is for what? Using the web development. You might have seen our placement officer, they brought lots of requirements in Python. Python developer, they need Django, they need Flask. But we are not into that particular domain or application. We said we are mostly toward data science. Anything related to Python data science, we are going to refer candidates. Beautiful Soup, Request, Pygame is something which is used for gaming purpose, developing the gaming softwares. Beautiful Soup is something is used for first to working with your HTML, XML documents. Just in case you want to connect to retrieve data, you have to use this Beautiful Soup as a library. Sometimes we get the data in XML format, HTML format. In such cases, when you connect and read those data, when you are doing the web scraping, you will use Beautiful Soup's kind of libraries. What is web scraping? We will discuss that later, not now. Now we'll talk about the Python programming platforms. As I said now, guys, where exactly we can go for writing Python programs? We will write now in Jupyter Notebook, but what are other areas we can go for writing the Python program? Sorry, I'll just copy and paste it here. Okay, right. So we can write the Python programming in the local machine. What is local machine? You can also install Jupyter Notebook individually. You can go for installing the software. You don't have to go for connecting through the Anaconda for the cloud-based platform. You can individually install PySpider. You can individually install PyCharm also. But again, that will not be upgraded with the new features. If you always want to work with the new features, it is better to connect with what? Anaconda. For example, in your system, you can go for Office 2019 also can be installed. Office 2021 can be installed. Office 365 can be installed. But Office 365 is a cloud-based platform where you can automatically upgrade your Excel features. But you cannot upgrade with what? 2021 or 2009. That is obsolete now because every company has moved to cloud. Since we are using Jupyter Notebook, we will be using Jupyter Notebook not as an individual software in the local machine. We should be connecting using what? Anaconda. So whenever you are appearing for the interview, they'll say, okay, if you are using Jupyter Notebook, is it something that you're connected through the local system or you're connected through what? The cloud. So what is your answer going to be? is a cloud. You're using Anaconda to do this. You can use cloud platform as called as Anaconda, or you can go for integrated development environment that is called IDEs, or you can go for using Jupyter Notebook or Raspberry Pi. These kind of installation you can do individual level to get connected to Python programming. Okay. The next thing I'll be talking about what how to identify the current version of Python which you are using. Which is the latest version of Python? Tell me, guys. Sorry, 3.1.4. Yes or no? Right. So to know that, you will write a syntax like this. From, you will write here platform. You will import as what, guys? Python underscore version. Now what you will write here? You will write here Python underscore version. You will write bracket start close and close it here. Right? Is this clear to all of you guys? From the platform, you are importing Python version. You are printing the latest version of Python using the Python version. This is a function. If you call this, it's saying the latest version is using what? 3.10.9. This is what you have to read. Right? Or somebody says 3.11.14. Is it the latest version? Okay, no worries. If you're using a Python prompt, I'll show you how to go for using prompt. Maybe I did not use this, so it is coming as the older one. So my system, because I'm using the older one, it is coming 3.10. Maybe you guys find see something new. Okay, now how to install Python? What we'll do now, guys, here? How to install Python? See, I will give you something. What I normally did, you can also do the same thing. I will give you, these are the two URL. You can use this. You can use this YouTube towards installing. You can go for installing Anaconda also. You can go to this YouTube. You can find it out. Now the next one, which I will be doing now. Now, next is how to start with Python programming. So guys, to start with Python programming, what we can use here, we can write the Python programming in three different platforms. Yes or no? One is what? Jupyter Notebook. Second one is what? PySpider. Yes or no, guys? Right? So it is going to be a PySpider, or you can use third is called PyCharm. Right? These are the three platforms where you can write this Python programming. Now, what we'll talk about here, how to start the Python programming. To start Python programming, what I'll do here, let me go for running this program. I'll put name as DV analytics. Yes or no, guys? So name is what? Name is a variable. Yes or no? Right. DV analytics is what? Is the variable value. Are you getting this, guys, everyone? So I'll just comment them out using control question mark. I can comment using control question mark. I can uncomment. Now, how to call your variable? You will use print as an option and saying name. If you run this program, what is happening? It is printing the value of what? Are you getting this, guys? Now, this is how we need to understand how to go for calling a Python programming. The problem is that if you write only name and call, it is coming with what DB analyst with a single quote. But if you're going to call this with a print function for name, now it is going to call the value without what? Does it make sense to all of you guys? Right. So what we're discussing here is that if you go for writing name, so actually the variable name is what? small name. You are calling by what? Capital name. Is it coming any output? What is the error is coming here? Name is not defined. So variable name is very much. Are you getting this, guys? Everyone? Is this clear? Now the next thing. If you call print name, will it run? Print is not what? It's not a keyword. So Python keyword is also case sensitive. Is this clear to all of you guys? Understood now? Now, A is equal to 100. So what is the variable name? B is equal to 100. What is the variable name? B. Let's say B is equal to 200. C is equal to A star B. What does it mean? A into B. So how will you call C? You'll just write C. Now if you run this program, what is the value is coming? Right? You can directly call this variable here, or you can call the variable using what? Print as a function. If you do that, you get these values also coming same thing. Did you understand, guys? Everyone, those who are online,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now we'll talk about here, guys. I don't want to miss anything from the previous batch. I'm just following the contents to take your class. Now we'll talk about what? Python variable name and criteria. So when I write name is a variable, when I write A is a variable. So is there any criteria that we need to follow for creating the variable name? Yes. So what are those criteria? I'll be writing it down here. So what is the criteria? Can anyone read here? Those are online. Variable name can only contain letters, numbers, and underscore. They cannot contain spaces or special characters in between. Variable names must start with a letter or underscore. They cannot start with a number. Variable names are case sensitive, meaning that my variable and my variable, right? So are considered different variables. If you're calling this my variable and my variable twice, both are considered two different variables. Maybe the name is same, but if you're using the same name multiple times, it will consider two different variables. Variable names should be descriptive and meaningful. Make it easier for others developer to understand the purpose of this variable. For example, if I write institute underscore name, that makes sense. Somebody will understand this is the institute name. You should not be giving the variable name as INSTNM. What does it mean? Are you getting it? Avoid using reverse keyword, which are words that have special meanings in Python, such as if, else, while, for, and return. These are the keyword in Python. You cannot use those keywords to call a variable name, right? Use lowercase letters for variable names with words separately by underscore. For example, if you're writing name, make it as small letter. That is fine. Don't keep it as completely proper case or completely uppercase. Always good that if you are using the Python programming, use the small cases, right? This is known as your snake case, right? Which is recommended naming convention in Python. So this is sometimes they will say in the interview, have you heard about the Python snake cases? So they're actually calling about what? The variable naming conventions, which you need to follow. That is called snake cases. Is this clear to all of you guys? Chalo. Now, I will be using this code here. How to define variable, values, and the data types. Okay. So now I'll call this here. Okay. What I write here? Right. Right. Now I'll say, I write here as what? 13. Right. I write here 4,000. Let's say 5,000. Okay. Are you getting this? Now, when I write this, how many variables I define? I define 3 variables. Yes or no? Can you tell me what is their data types? Soon after you define this, you can say run. How to call this variable name? Print as what? So you got to know how to call this. Yes or no? How to call this years old and call this variable name? Does it work? How to call this variable name here? Does it work now, guys? Now. Okay. What we'll do here to understand the data types about what? Those variables. So how will you write this to get the data types of these variables, guys? You will write what? Types only, right? I'm just looking at if I'm missing anything here.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. Can you please zoom your screen?
Zoom my screen. Okay. Is this okay? Is this okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. So how many variables I've defined, guys, here? If I want to see, what will I do now? You just have to use right what? Bracket start. What is it given here, guys? What is it given here, guys? String means what? It's a character. If you write what? Is going to give it as what? Integer. Guys, please go on mute. If you go for, what do you see this, guys? Right? So now we'll talk about variables and the expressions. Right? So how to go for variable and expression? A is equal to 100, B is equal to 200. Right? So you have to run this program. When you say C is equal to A plus B, what value is going to come in here, guys, for C? 300. When you say C is equal to A minus B, what value will come for C? Minus 100. When you say C is equal to A star B, what value is going to come in here, guys? Right? Now, same way, when you say C is equal to A by B, what is the value is going to come in here, guys? Right. So it's going to get you the value of what? 0.5. When you say A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 2, you will say C is equal to A to the power B. Right? What's the value of C here? 100. Are you getting this, guys? Now, when you say A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 3 and C is equal to A slash B, what's the value of C? If you run this query, it's going to give us what? Right? It is going to give the value of what? So now this is where you're creating an expression called addition. This is where you're creating an expression called subtraction. This is where you're doing as what? Multiplication. This is where you're doing this as what, guys? Division. This is where you calculate as what? Power. This is where you're going for getting this value of what? Quotient. Right? Am I missing anything here? No. Fine. So now, this is how we go for creating the expression. Now, if you say A equal to 100, B is equal to 20, C is equal to 100 plus, let's say, how to make this as a complex. So I say this is going to be A, C is equal to, let's say 100 plus 200 J, something like this. I'm giving this here. Now, if you call this value for C, what is the value is coming? The value is coming as a complex. Now guys, we'll talk about data types in more details. Before going for Python programming, I'm just trying to help you understand the basic data types. Now, when you say A is equal to 100 if you write here type of A is going to get the value of what, guys? It is integer. When you say A is equal to 100.90, what is the type is going to say that, guys, here? Sorry, float. If you say A is equal to 100 plus 200j, what is the type for A will show here?
String.
It's a complex, right? Data type is complex here. When you say A is equal to Bharat, what's the type of A will come here?
String.
It is coming as a string here. So now you understand what is integer, what is float, what is complex, what is string. Yes or no? When you say A is equal to range of 0 to 100, are you getting this? So what right here type of A is going to come as what? It's a range of value. Are you getting this, guys? Now, when you say range of values type is this, if you say print A, what value is going to come in? 0 to 100 is going to show the range. Understood now, guys? Now, data types that we understand now. Tell me, what is the first data type you understand? Integer. Second data type is what? Float. Third data type is what? String. Fourth data type is what, guys? Sorry?
Complex.
Fifth data type is going to what, guys? Range. So these are the basic data types we understand in Python. Now we will learn about other data types as well, which is going to use for designing a data frame. To know more on data types like list, tuple, set, and you will go for dictionary. These are the four data types. Sorry. Right? So these are the four data types which we have to know, because this is very important to know before designing any data frame in what? Your Python programming. Now we'll start with what? List data type. We'll talk about that. What is list data type? For example, I will say student name. So what's your name? Dibya. Okay. So right here, the name is Dibya. What's the next name? Amit. I will write. Then it is Siddharth. Then Ravi. Pragya. Okay. Then one more name, guys, is required. Mohit. So this is what, guys, I created student name is a variable, and this variable contains so many values inside this. When you have more than one value, you got to define this through the list as a data type. So the variable name is what? Student name. And how will you call this student name? If you run this program, what is happening? Yes or no? But if you use print as an option to call student name, what is going to come in here? All these variables are coming. If you want to know the type of the variable name is what? What is going to give here? Did you understand? So this is where we understand about what? List as a data type. Now we'll talk about what? Tuple as a data type. Okay. In tuple, what we'll do here, we'll copy the same thing. But instead of giving the square bracket, you will give a parenthesis. Does it make sense? Now, when you put this variable within this parenthesis, it becomes as what? Tuple. So how would you define this? You will also go for printing? Yes or no? Print of what? Now how to go for writing this? Type of what? Does it make sense? How to identify list, how to identify tuple is clear to all of you. The only difference is coming with a parenthesis. Now you will talk about the next is what? Set data type. Right. So in set data type, what you'll do here, you call them all using what? A curly bracket. Can you see this? So if you run this program, you get the values are coming. You can also go for printing this value for what? Student name. Okay. Now you will write here type as what? What is it coming here, guys? Set. Now we'll talk about what? Dictionary. These are the 4 different data types we have to understand: list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So for dictionary, what you will do here, guys, I will say Divya, what's your education background, Divya? MBA. Amit, what's your education background? BE. Siddharth, what's your education background? Ravi, what's your education background? Pragya, what's your education background? Mohit, what's your education background? Did you understand, guys? What we did here? In your dictionary, you have a key, and key has given us values. Understood? How to call this? What to do here? How to call this? Understood? It will look the values in a vertical order. How to look for the type? Type as what? Does it come? So list is coming list. Tuple is coming as what? How does it show here? It just shows tuple, and this is set is showing set. Dictionary is showing DICT. Understood about these data types? Curly brackets in dictionary. No other brackets. Very important to know dictionary along with list to create data frame. So we completed the data types in Python. Like what? Can you tell me one by one, guys? Number 1, integer. Right? Number 1, integer. Array. Second one,
Float.
float. Right. Third one.
String.
Fourth one. Right. Then fifth one.
Range.
Sixth one. 7. 8. Sorry. 9. Dictionary. Is this clear to all of you guys? Right? So I'll have a test now. You ready for the test? Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Now for the test, what I'll do here, I'll ask few questions to the online people, few questions to the offline people. Okay. If I write age is given, right? 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Will it run?
Yes, sir.
Right? What is the data type?
That.
Understood? Okay. If I write will it work?
No, sir.
Sir.
Who said no?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. No.
Why it will not run? Tell me.
It's a
Not
string
any
value
value.
should be in a semicolon.
Semicolon,
What we
sir.
have to do here?
Double quote.
Single quote.
Is this okay? So how about now? Will it work?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Was the type there?
Tuple.
Very good. Okay. Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Now I'll go for company. Right. Will it run?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What's the type?
List.
List.
Understood? Right? Okay. Right? What is the population of Odisha?
4.5 crore.
4.5 crore. Must be from political background. Okay. Population in UP? 25 crore. Sorry? 20 crore. Okay. Tell me population of Karnataka. Sorry? Let's say 12 crore. Yes or no? Okay. Population of Rajasthan. What is the population? 8 crore. 8.5 crore. Chalo. Will it run? Yes or no?
Yes,
What is the type?
Dictionary.
Does it work, guys? Right. So I hope you understand about this, right? What if I say a equal to 1900 multiplied by 122 divided by 200? If I go for giving the values like this, what should be the output of a? What should the type of a?
Float.
Sorry? Understood? Clear now? Chalo. You guys are aware of it. Now we'll talk about something which is important. Can data types like list, tuple, set, and dictionary be updated, deleted, and appended? This is the question is going to ask in the interview. You should be able to answer. Guys, you might be thinking, why should we go for learning data types like list, tuple, set, and dictionary? Trust me, if you're working in Python programming, you will be designing the data frame. Data frames are nothing. It is a mix of your set, tuple, and dictionary along with list. If you do not know those variables, how to identify, you will not be able to create the data frame. Now we will be going for creating data frame just after this. After that, the class will go like rocket. But till the time, I'm going slow to explain this. Okay. Now the question is, can the list tuple dictionary kind of variable, can it be appended? Can it be updated, deleted, and appended? Yes or no? So we'll do it now. As we take this name here for the students in the list, what we took it here, guys? Yeah. Okay. Now we'll start with what? List to be updated, then deleted, and appended. So take an example of this. What is the value of this variable now? Yes or no? Why it is coming like this? Because I did not run this. It's taking the last variable name. Now it is coming here. Now the type of this is what? It is list, right? To see the first value of this list, what will do here? You write student name, then the bracket start, you write 1. If you write 1, what will happen? It's going to get the name of, because it starts with indexing value of what? 0 means Dibya, right? 1 means what? Amit. 2 means what? Sorry? Siddharth. 3 means what? Ravi. 4th means what? 5th means what? Right? Mohit. 6 means what? What? You should read the error, right? List index out of range. Whenever I will take your class on exception, error exception in Python, most of the time they're asking the interview, right? You should be able to understand how to read the error in Python. First one, when you say the variable name is not defined. Now here in this case, what's saying that least index out of the range. So what is the range is coming for this now? 0 to 5, because we have 6 values inside this, right? So if you say -1, what it will take you here? Because it's going from least range from there to minus. If you say -2, what will happen? Are you getting this, guys? If you say -3, what will happen now? If you say -0, what will happen? This is interview question. In MCQs will come like this. You will say no, none of these. You will get under. If you say -0, what will you get? Are you getting this? If you write 1, what will you get? You will get 0, what will you get? If you write -0, what will you get? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, how to call the value within the range? Are you getting this, guys? How to call the values within the range? What will I write here? What value is going to come? Right? How to call the values 2 to 5? What will come now? Are you getting this? If you call that you want to print the value which is 1:1, what the value is going to come?
Not print.
Nothing. If you say the value of 2:2, what will get? Nothing. Either you call 2 forward or backward. For example, 2 to -1, what will come? 2 to -1 is coming as what? Siddharth, Ravi and Pragya. Is this clear now? Very good. So I hope you understand how to call these values now. Yes or no? Now, what I said here, to update value. So how will you go for updating the value? I'll show you here. So first you look at print student underscore name. Can you see these values are coming? Now I am saying student name bracket start. Not bracket start is going to bring your square bracket. You want to change 1. How do you call this? Raja. I'll call this as what? Raja. So what is happening now? Instead of Amit, it will give the value of what? Because index 1 has been updated by what? Raja. Okay, guys, can you see this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Now, if you say to delete now, what will I write here? Delete. Yes or no, guys? How will I write the delete? Delete. Are you getting this? If you run this program, it is run now. What is happening? It is not going to show that index value of Raja, which has been deleted now. Now we'll talk about so guys, right. Now we're going to talk about what? Least value to be right. So let's take an example. This is given student name and this is given student education, which is another variable. Dibya is saying what? She is an MBA, and Amit is saying what? He is a BE. Siddharth is saying is what? He is an MCA, and Ravi is saying that what? MCom, and Pragya is saying what? BE or MBA, MBA, and Mohit is saying as what? BE, right? So in this case, when you say you want to append, right, guys? So how to get this? Called student details. So how are you doing that? Student name plus student education. You'll go for. Can you see this? It can be appended. Yes or no? Now the next question is coming to you. Can tuple so you'll be saying as what? Perfect. Right. Now for tuple, how would you define these values, guys, here? With the parenthesis. Okay. So what you will start with this? You'll call this value here. Okay. You get these values. If you write type of this, what's the type is going to come in? Tuple. Now, what you want to do here? So tuple values to be updated. So what does it mean? If you write student1, what value is going to come in? What should you write here? So whenever you will calling this index value, you have to use always this, right? Now, what do you want to do here? You want to call this as what? Raja. Why it is going to throw error? So it's saying that tuple object does not have to, so it is not in a mutable form, right? You cannot go for updating, so we cannot update a tuple data type in Python. Does it make sense, guys? Now, do you think we can delete? What do you think? Can we delete this value? So how to delete this? Then what is that saying here? So we also understand we cannot delete a tuple data types in Python. Is this clear? Now, what do you think? Tuple can be appended or not? What do you think, guys? Can it be appended?
No, sir.
Let's see.
No.
Right? So if you run this program, what is saying here? It can be appended. So tuple values, tuple data types can be. Does it make sense, guys? Everyone? Understood? Next, we'll talk about what? Okay. For set, what we'll do here, guys? You will be using as what? Curly bracket. And if you write type to what? Are you getting this, guys? Now, when you say you want to update, how would you update this? So how do you update this, guys? Right? Is equal to Raja. Does it work? Set cannot be updated. चलो ठीक है. Which one? Okay. Now, set values to be deleted. Can it be? What do you say, guys, here? How do you write that? Does it work? So, set values cannot be deleted. What do you think? Can it be appended? Can it be appended, guys? Right. What do you think, guys? Can it be appended? Set values cannot be appended also, but tuple can be. Yes or no? Now the next is what? Now you tell me. What will happen if you go for? Will it run? So how to call the dictionary values, guys? Tell me. Right. What will you do in this case? How will you call the dictionary? What will you write here? This is for. This is for. This is for. This is for. This is for MBA, and this is for BE. So if you call this value as a student name, it should be throwing the value as what? This form in a vertical order. But if you want to write the type of this, is going to give us what, guys? Dictionary. Now the question is coming. You tell me, guys, can it be or cannot be? Can be deleted or updated? What do you think, guys? Yes or no? Those are online.
Yes, it can.
Yes, sir.
No problem. Okay. So what we can do, guys, now in your dictionary, when you go for creating a dictionary, you have to understand what are the keys you have. If you run these keys, it will say Dibya, Amit, Siddharth, Ravi, Pragya. These are the name which is going to be keys. But if you say you want to see values, what is going to show the values? MBA, BE, MCA, MCOM, MBA, and BE. These are what? The values. So that means whenever you go for talking about the dictionary, in the dictionary, you have two types of things are going to come. One is the keys and one other one the values, right? So when you say that I want to write student name, but here you have to call the values like Amit. What value is going to come? Any idea, guys? Everyone is going to bring the values for this,
BE.
right? If you do the same thing for Pragya, what's the value is going to come in here?
MBA. sir.
Are you getting this? So now what will happen if you want to call the values? Can you call the values like this? What will happen? So we can call only what? We can call the keys values as an index to dictionary data type. Yes or no, guys? We cannot call the values as your index. Now coming back to here, you are saying student name Amit, right? If you write like this, what is the values coming here? BE. but I will change it to, let's say, MSc. Can you see this, guys? Everyone. Now, if I run this program, what is happening? It is changed. Now, if I call student name, what it will show for Amit? Right? So that means dictionary values can be updated. Yes or no? Right? Now, dictionary values to be what? Deleted are those. Okay. What do you think, guys? Now, if you go for this, if you go for printing this value, what value is going to come in here? Amit is coming as MSc. Now, I want to delete. What will I write here? Delete student name as what? Amit. Can it be deleted? What do you say? If you delete, you'll call this also here. Yes or no? What is happening? Does Amit come? Amit has been deleted. Yes or no? So dictionary value can be. Now the next question is coming. Dictionary values to be. Right? So how to go for appending the dictionary values? Can it be appended? Can you see this, guys? A is what? 30. B is what? 20. This is student age, and this is given student education. If you run this query, you get the values like this. Now, let's say this is called student age, and this is called student education. You would be calling this here. Right. Okay. Now, do you think we can append this equal to student education plus student age? And I'll call this as what? Print of. Will it work? Unsupported operands, which is used for plus for dictionary value. That means dictionary values cannot be appended. Okay. So is this clear now, guys, about data types? Now, guys, we'll be going for creating a data frame, right? Now we'll talk about how to create a data set or table or data frame in Python. Both are same. We call SAS dataset, we call Python dataset, we call SQL table, and in Python also we can call this as data frame. Right, guys? So this is important here. What we'll do here, we'll go for creating a student table. Okay. So to create the student table, you have to use import pandas as what? PD. Now you want to create the table name called student underscore inquiry underscore 2023. Do you remember how do we create the table? We create the student underscore and inquiry underscore 2023 in Excel. What you define here, you will write PD dot data frame. This is very much case sensitive. The way it is written, you have to write this. Then you will start with bracket start and close. Inside this, you will define your what? You will define as all your set variables. The first variable name is going to what? Student ID. So how would you go for calling the student ID, guys? You will call this as what? Taking a list value. S1, then S2, then S3, then S4, S5, then S6. 6 student काफी है ना? Then what we'll do here, you will define what next is what? Student name. So how do you define this? Again, you will go for defining through the list. What is the name of the student? Dibya. Second student name is what? Amit. Third student name is what? Siddharth. Fourth student name is what, guys? Ravi. And then we have Pragya. 6 students on there or 5 only? One more. then Mohit. Perfectly going for 6. Now after this, what will add here? Their gender. Gender add kar lo. Right? What will write in gender? Female. Then you write what? Male. Right? Then write what? Male. Again male. Then female. Then male. Now you will go for looking at their education. So how to write the education here? Right. Are you getting, guys, how I'm creating the data frame? Then I'll be calling this as what? MBA. Call me, guys. PE. Call me. MCA. Call MCOM. MBA. Call BE. Right. Then I will have another variable that is for what? Date of inquiry. Yes or no? We'll write date of inquiry. So how are you creating this? Right. So how do you put the date, guys, here? It should be in which format? DDMMYY or MMDDYY? I'll put both, I'll show you the difference, right? So I'll be going for putting this as what? 23 January 2023. Yes or no? Again, I'll go for 11 January 2023. I'll go for 23rd March 2023, right? Then I'll go for what? 12 2023. I'll write what? 01 08 2023. Can you see this? What is happening here? So what is happening here? How many is left? Only one left, right? That one should be 09 02 2023. I given the date like this, right? After this, what I write here? The course they opted for. Yes or no? So what should be the course here, guys? Tell me. MPIDS. Then again I'll go for right, guys. I'm writing this now, but going further I will not write. I'll copy paste certain things. Okay, so now you have created the table name as what? Do you see the table is coming, guys, here? It is starting with the index of what? Does it impact whether you go for MMDDY or DDMMYY? But by default is reading as what? DDMMYY. Understood? Okay. Now, since you have this table, how will you go for printing the table? Print as. So can you see there is something coming as banded rows and banded columns? So, but if you go for printing, it's just going to look in a text form of data. This is called indexing of 0 to 5, which is 6 records, and this is how your data is coming. Now, if you have created this data table, you will write what? Dot shape. What it will do? It will show how many columns. This is by how many rows, and this is by how many columns. If you write here head of 3, what will happen now? Is going to print top 3 records. If you write from this data frame, you want to go for tail of 3. What will happen? Last bottom 3 of this data frame is going to print the output. Are you getting this, guys? If you write this data set dot d types, what will happen now? It is going to give everything as a character. So since you put date and time both into what? I mean MMDDYY, DDMMY all together, it is going to read this as what? All character. Does it make sense, guys? Date time is also part of character only. Now, if you write this dot columns dot values, what will give you? All the column names are coming and data type is coming as what? Checked. Right. Is this clear now, guys? How to go for looking at your data frame once you create this? Clear to all of you? Right. So now we'll talk about, guys, here how to add and drop column in a table. Okay, how to add and drop columns to a table. Okay. So again, what is the table name for you guys here? So this is your table. Can you see this? How many columns it is there in the table? Right. So you want to add a column means you have to take the table name here. Then you have to start with a square bracket. I call this institute name. Are you getting this? What is the variable? Put it here. What I write here? Now, if you call this, does it come in DB Analytics? Now, if you want to drop the column, this is called what? Let's say I write it here. This is called adding a column. Now we're talking about what? Dropping a column. Right? So which column you want to drop here? Tell me. Institute, which you just created, you want to drop it? Yes or no, guys? So table name is what? Student inquiry. Now in this table, you want to drop the column name is what? Institute name. So how to go for doing this? You can simply write here. Some people they do drop and they go for creating this value, bracket start. The field name is going to be institute name. Then you have to use your, you have to just write this way. Okay. Now, okay. Now, how do you write these guys here? After this, axis is equal to 1, I guess. Okay. So if you run this program, what do you think? It will work or it will not work? Does it work? No, it is not working. But if you call this, the table name is what? Version 1. And if you try to drop this, does it drop? It is dropping. So this is how we can go for dropping a column in a particular table. Now we'll talk about how to go for truncate the table. Truncate a table. So how to go for truncating a table, we'll be learning that now. Okay. What is the table name? Let's say student inquiry. Now tell me in this table, how many columns are there? It is having institute name, yes or no? Now, what you have to do here, you have to truncate the table. So how do you go for truncating the table? Just use this table here. You have to call dot ilog. You write 0 is to 0. Does it make sense? If you do this and call the table after this, what is happening here? Does it work, guys? It's not working. Why is not working? Because when you're truncating, you have to call the table name and you will call this a new table to be called here. Does it work? So you drop or you truncate. You cannot apply on the master data frame or data set. Hence, you have to create a copy of it where you can go for truncating this. Is this clear now, guys? How to go for cleaning this? So whenever we run this code, the output is coming here. Just in case you want to see the code, you don't want to see the output, you can go to the cell. Under all output, you can go for clearing this. So you can see all the code that we have covered till now. Is this okay to all of you guys, what we covered now? Right. I will take hardly another 20 minutes. We'll finish the class. Is that okay with you guys? Now we'll be talking about data importing. Data importing from Excel, CSV, and text file. First, we'll do this. Okay. So now we'll start with what? Data importing from Excel file. Okay, so we have given session 1 raw data. Can you see this? The file name is what? Made underscore store underscore 2023.xlsx file. If you open this Excel file, this file is having a sheet name is what? Made underscore Australia underscore data. Now we want to read data from where? From this file path. Yes or no? Are you getting this, guys? Before going for importing the data, what you have to write, guys, here? Import pandas. Import pandas as what? PD. Always make a practice of writing import NumPy as NP. You never know where the scientific computation will come in the data. It's always good to call NumPy. पैसा नहीं पड़ता है. ऐसे बुलाना है, ठीक है? Now, what you'll do here first, guys, you'll go for reading the data from where? Excel file. To read this data from Excel file, you want to call the table name is what? Made underscore 2023. How will you go for PD dot read underscore Excel bracket start? In this bracket, you will be giving the path of what? This folder where your file is located. Can you see this, guys? Understood? What is the file name you would be calling here? And the file extension is going to be what? Yes or no? Since your value is going to come with what? /a, /n, /b. If it is there, these are called Unicode values. To call this Unicode values, you have to use small r. Are you getting this, guys? Those are online?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then you will write what? Sheet underscore name. What the sheet underscore name will call it here, guys? Made underscore Australia underscore data. Something is like that. Yes or no? Now, soon after you created this table, what you'll call? You'll call the table here. If you call this table, you can see the output is going to come here. Can you see? It is printing 5,112 rows and 24 columns. That means if you talk about the table, how many rows, how many columns are there? So how to see that? Dot shape. If you run this query, did you get the output is coming, guys, here? This is how you imported what? Excel file. Now we'll talk about importing data from where? CSV file. Do you think it is that difficult, guys, to import the data? To read data, what do you write here? As I said, import pandas as PD. Though I have imported once, it is going to work, but I'll make a practice of always writing this. Import NumPy as NP. Now you will be creating the dataset. Dataset is what, guys? You will be creating the dataset name as what? Made underscore 2023. Yes or no? Now you would be reading the data from where? So you write here PD dot read underscore CSV and bracket start. In CSV, when you are going to read this data, where you will going to read this path, right? And what will you give this file name here? Dot. Yes or no? And do you think that CSV is having any such what is that? Do you like to go for giving any delimiter? What is that delimiter for CSV file? Even if you don't give, will it any impact? What do you say? If I don't give this, will it read my data or not? But good to have, right? If you run this query, can you see data is coming? It is also reading the data here. Yes or no? Now we'll talk about data importing from text file. Right? So how will you go for reading data from? What do you write first? Import pandas as, then import NumPy as NP. What do you write here? Made 2023. You will write PD is the library dot read underscore CSV. You cannot go for writing TXT. There is no keyword called TXT. Now let's write from TXT what is happening. What do you think it will work, guys? Those who are there. No, yes, what?
No.
It
No,
will
sir.
work. It will work. Right? How many of you say it will work? Tell me. What is the separator in this data? So what should I write here?
Comma.
How many of you are saying it will not run? Tell me. It will run, it will not run.
No, sir.
What error is saying? In this module, right, there is nothing called read underscore text. If the module is going to prepare by this, it will run. As of now, it is not there. So it will say, does it work? Clear to all of you guys?
Yes.
This is how we have completed how to go for importing the data from where? From this. Now we'll talk about what? How to go for exporting data to what? This. We'll talk about exporting data to Excel, CSV, and text file. Right? So what is the data frame we have, guys? Made underscore? Yes or no? Right. Now, to export this data, what we'll do here? Import Pandas as what? PD. Import NumPy as NP. To export this data set, what will write here? Guys, what will write here to export data?
.2.
So you write made underscore 2023 dot PD. What do you say? Yes or no? To underscore Excel, then giving the file bracket. Where do you want to export this data? What will write here? Then where's the file name will go for? Dot. Yes or no? Would you like to add some sheet name to this? What is that? Yes or no? You just call this file name here. Now run this. So what you'll see here in your folder, the file has come. If you go to this file, it will show the sheet name is given as what? Made underscore export underscore Excel. Understood? But if you do not want to show this index by the time of exporting data, what will you do here? You'll write here index is equal to none. Right, guys? Run this query. Why it is saying incomplete? So run this query. Did this work? Now check this file. Does it come with the indexing of the row number? I believe no. Does it come? Just to avoid those first row number by the time of exporting, you'll see index is equal to none. Is this clear to all of you guys? Kitna? Pura? Okay. So this is what you are exporting data to what? Now exporting data to CSV file. Okay. Okay. Now you'll say exporting data to CSV file. So how do you export this data? To and write what? Do you need to write this all? Is this okay, guys? If you run this query, does it work with CSV file? Can you see how your data is coming? It's coming here, right? Now you would be exporting data to what? So how do you do that? In this, there is nothing called txt. CSV extension would be what? And you would be using what? Separate as what? Understood? Now, if you go for exporting the data, has it exported? It is exported to be what? Understood? Chalo. Now we'll be talking about importing and exporting data from where? SQL Server. Right? Now, importing and exporting data from SQL database. Are you getting this, guys? So now we'll start with what? Importing data from SQL database. Fine. So guys, what we will do now, let's open SQL Server. I just opened my SQL Server here. Hardly 10 minutes, guys. Do you have patience to wait for me? What is the database here, guys, you see? Let's say we'll go for SQL Python 2023-09. How would you call this? Use. Database name is what? SQL. Okay. SQL Python. Right? This is my database name. In this database, I have a table. What's the table name? Select star from made underscore. If I run this program, did I get my output here, guys? Right? I want to go for importing this data to what? Python. So I'll close it here. Do you remember database name, guys? याद रह गया? ठीक है. I'll close it now. Remember, it is no more into SQL Server native client. It is in SQL Provider, OLEDB. Is this clear? To import data from SQL Server. So how do you go for getting the data from SQL Server? Those who are online, can you see my screen, guys, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. You have to write here, import pandas as PD. Then import NumPy as NP. Like that, you also have to go for import Py ODBC. What is ODBC stands for? Can anyone tell me? Open Database Connectivity. What is the Open Database for us now? SQL Server. Now here you have to write from, there is a module which you have to use called SQL. I don't know the spelling is correct or not. Can anyone check the spelling, guys? Is it correct? You will use import create underscore engine, comma, you create an embed. Correct, right? Perfect. Then you will also use dot engine dot ui. These there are many ways. I'm just showing this to you guys. Now with this, you have to go for creating one connection string, which is going to take, I have the code available with me, which I don't want to write it. I may do some mistakes, so I'll just copy this here. I will write driver is what? ODBC driver 17 for SQL Server. Server is what? Dot. Dot means what? The local server. I can give my server name if I remember. Database name is what? SQL Python 2023-09. Trusted connection is going to be yes. Over which you have to write the syntaxes like this. Connection URL. You have to use the URL to create your MySQL or MS SQL towards PyODBC queries connection. Create the engine as this. You are creating a table called made 2023 using SQL. You call this table name like this. And which table you're going to read from the database? Made underscore 2023. Now, if you run the program, I will see where I got the error. This is URL. Now, if you run this program, You can see the data is imported from where? SQL Server. There are many ways to do this. I'll show you another code to this also. Can you see this? We are trying to read as what? Select distinct company from which table? May 2023. I can run this query to get the output of select distinct company name, which is directly running from where? SQL Server. I can also create the table with selected column from where? From SQL Server. The same query, I just have to write here. SQL query for select customer ID, company, gender, age, state code, spend amount from this table. And you run this query, it is going to pull only those columns from the table. So your Python is connected to SQL Server where it is pulling the data like this. You just have to remember this code. If you ask me, sir, without seeing this, can you write the code? I'll say no. Right? So next is going to be, okay, I just want to show you this code to test your knowledge, guys, whether this code is going to run or not. We'll call this as test. How many of you say this code will run? How many of you say this code will not run? Those are online. Tell me, guys, is this the code going to run?
No, sir.
Why did you say no? Tell me first. No, you're right, but tell me, why did you say no? This code will not
Sir,
run. Tell me.
from my point of view, the column name should be in square bracket to get the query right.
No, it is not true. Did we write here in the square bracket? No, we still get the column name.
Okay, sir.
Will this code be running? No. Did you see this code anywhere? You did. I wrote QRL intentionally to get the error. It is URL. Now, do you think that anywhere is run? It will run, right? It is running. I just made you to read the code. That's it. Okay. Now, how to go for exporting? Okay, guys. Now we'll go for exporting the data. So what do you think? I'll write the code. I'll copy the code. वो नहीं हो पाएगा. कर सकते हैं, लेकिन we'll save time. So if you really look for this code, what we are doing, we are actually going to to_SQL, where we are exporting this table. What is the table name? Okay, tell me this code will run or not. Tell me. Is this code is going to run or not? I will ask this question to Rahul. Rahul, tell me. This query will run or not? Tell me. I can guarantee this code will not run. It will run? How many of you say it will run? Okay, guys, look at it. It will not run because you have not given the right. No, it will definitely run. It will definitely run because the previous table is created here. So now, if you want to run this, I want to give this table name as what? 23 SQL. If I run this query, it will say -1. -1 means what? The query ran successfully and this data set is created inside the database. So how to check that? If you go to SQL Server, if you go to your database, you can see there's a table has been exported with the name of made_2023 SQL. Can you see this, guys? Got it now? Now, few things which is left, we will be doing this here. How to copy a data set to a. Tell me, guys, how to do this? How to do this? How to copy data set from new data set? We have May 2023. Yes or no, guys? Right? Now, we want to create made new. We'll write what? Right? We can write this program to get the new table is created as what? Yes or no? Now this made new is having how many? Same. Some people, they also write the code this way. That is also correct. That is also okay. Both the way. Now, how to create a new data set from an existing data set by keeping selected variables. Are you getting this, guys? So how do you go for doing this? Let's say you want to see all the header in your data set. How do you see that? Dot columns dot values. What is it going to give you here? The list of column. Now I want to go for creating a new data set. Are you getting this, guys? How to go for creating a new data set to create by selecting the variables. What you'll do first? Made 2023 version 1. You will read data from where? Made underscore 2023. Now in this you would be selected those variable name. What variable name will selecting here? Can you see this? I do not want to keep certain columns. I just select those columns and delete. I will not keep columns like this. I will not keep the column as from this to this. I'll keep the column name up to this. Can you see this, guys? What I selected? I selected few columns. Yes or no, guys? Now, can it be running with single quote? Just run this code and see what is happening. What will throw an error? Does it throw an error? What is this error says here? So, how do you call these values now? You can call these by will it run? Another way to run this query, you call all these list values, right? Create something called keep variables. Yes or no? Are you getting this? So how do you call this? Now, if you run this query, does it work? Okay. Now, how to drop variables to create a new data set from an run this. Okay. So guys, what we did now, we copied this code. Yes or no? Let's do this one more time. If you run this code, you got this data set. Now this time, what you want to do here, guys, you want to drop the variables. So how do you go for dropping the variables? Which variable do you want to drop? So let's go for drop variables. You're creating as what? A new variable. Drop variables as what? You will give list of variables name here. So which are the variables which you want to delete now? You want to keep this customer ID. You want to keep company. You want to keep what? You want to keep what? You want to keep as what? You want to keep as what? You want to keep as what? Right? Rest all variables are not important to you. Yes or no? So you can bring them all into a list. Now you can create made 2023 version 1. From where? This table. You will use drop. In drop, you will call this using what? This time you will not call list. When you're dropping, you will use tuple. Right? Or right here, axis is equal to 1. Why we going for axis is equal to 1? Because you're dropping means you're dropping the index. So whenever you call this index, you got to use this way. So now the dataset has been created by these columns. Is this clear? Understood? Now, how to describe a dataset? Right, guys? So what is the table you have now? Made underscore 2023. Yes or no, guys? Right. When you say made underscore 2023 dot shape, what is happening? Is giving us rows and columns. If you say made underscore 2023 dot head is equal to 100, what it will do here? Top 100 records are coming. When you say made underscore 2023 dot tail of 10, what does it mean? Right. If you say made underscore 2023 dot d types, what is going to come here, guys? Right. When you say made underscore 2023 dot info, what is going to come in, you guys? Each variable wise number of records. And why it is showing 5097? Because there are few records are missing in the data, and also the data type is coming. Yes or no? If you say made underscore 2023 dot describe, right, what will do here? All these numeric variables, customer ID, first, store, max, everything is going to give the summary statistics. But logically we should select the variable name as what? Spend amount, age for this, but it's going to take all the numeric values to describe them as the basic or the summary statistics. Now guys, if you want to print 100 to 200 observations, what do I write here? 100 to, what is happening? Starting from 100 to 199. Are you getting this, guys? Those who are. If you write made underscore 2023 dot columns dot values, what will happen now? All the column names are coming, right? Now, if you say made underscore 2023 dot is null bracket start dead, you can say sum bracket start close. What will happen? It is going to show each column wise how many missing records it has. Can you see this? Are you getting this, guys? Now the same query, if you write here is null bracket start close sum give twice, it is going to show you in this data set how many total missing records. 895 plus 15, which is coming 908. Does it make sense to all of you guys? Right? So we can also use print bracket start this entire function just to print the result here. So here I'll write we have finished session 1. Right, guys?